Captain Rael of the Kellery Alliance sat alone in the dim archives room, the hum of the translation console filling the silence. He had been assigned to review ancient council records about a newly contacted species humans. At first, the text seemed harmless, reports from old encounters, scattered observations. But then he saw it, a word written over and over in different tongues, carved into the margins of centuries-old warnings, Varntica. The machine translated it into Galactic Common with chilling simplicity, Extinction event. Rael frowned, reading deeper. The term was never explained directly. It appeared alongside fragmented accounts of sudden wars ending without battles, of rival empires collapsing without visible cause, of explorers who met humans once and never returned. Yet, there was no proof of outright aggression, only an undeniable pattern of disappearance and ruin. He leaned back, unsettled, imagining the faces of these humans he had yet to meet. Were they monsters? Or simply too adaptable for anyone to survive against? Somewhere deep inside, Rael felt the answer was both. Outside the archive room, the council chambers prepared for the first official human appearance. Rael glanced one last time at the translation, and the words seemed to whisper through the quiet air. Extinction event. The summit hall was a cathedral of glass and metal, filled with representatives from every corner of the galaxy. Captain Rael watched as the human delegation entered 3 men and 2 women in simple dark suits, moving with a calm precision that made the air feel heavier. Their eyes didn't just glance, they measured, scanning the guards, the exits, even the placement of food trays, as if every detail mattered. Some alien leaders exchanged uneasy looks, whispering that this was the way predators moved. The introductions had barely begun when the hall's alarms wailed. A masked intruder burst through a side entrance, weapon raised, heading straight for the council stage. Chaos spread instantly. Delegates dove for cover. Security stumbled in confusion. But the humans didn't hesitate. In a blur, 2 of them intercepted the attacker. One twisted the weapon away while the other pinned him to the floor. It was over before most realized it had begun. No shots fired, no panic in their faces, just cold, efficient control. As the stunned crowd stared, Rael felt a knot form in his chest. This wasn't luck or reflex, it was preparation. And in that moment, he understood why the galaxy had given humans a name that meant extinction event. The Krath Dominion had ruled through fear for generations, their fleets blotting out suns and their demands crushing entire worlds into obedience. When they learned of humanity's arrival, they saw only an untested species, ripe for intimidation. Their warships formed a blockade around human trade routes, broadcasting threats and ultimatums across every channel. But humanity did not send fleets in return. No grand battles unfolded, no blazing armadas met in open space. Instead, strange things began to happen. Krath patrol ships reported their navigation systems failing without cause. Supply lines vanished as if swallowed by the void. High-ranking Dominion officials disappeared from secure stations without a trace. False orders rippled through their command network, turning their own forces against each other. The blockade dissolved within days, the mighty Dominion retreating without a single formal engagement. To outsiders, it was baffling. To the Krath, it was terrifying. They had been dismantled from within, their strength turned into weakness by unseen hands. Watching from the council chambers, Captain Rael realized humanity had fought and won a war without ever stepping onto the battlefield. It was a lesson written not in blood, but in precision. And the galaxy now knew why their name meant extinction event. Captain Rael could not let the mystery rest. Long after the council adjourned, he dug deeper into restricted archives, chasing the shadow of humanity's past. The more he read, the more uneasy he became. There were scattered records from civilizations that no longer existed, fragments of warnings, trade logs abruptly ending, maps showing thriving colonies suddenly marked as barren. In the oldest files, he found testimonies from explorers who had encountered humans before the species had even built starships. They spoke of strange, adaptable creatures who learned new tools within hours, copied languages in days, and could turn an alien weapon against its owner after seeing it only once. The records hinted at small conflicts that never escalated into open wars, yet each ended the same way. The other side simply vanished from history. No battle reports, no debris fields, just silence. One account told of a proud empire that enslaved a small human settlement, only to lose control when the captives quietly took over the shipyards and cut off the empire's own supply lines. Within a generation, that empire was gone. Rael realized with a chill that this was not the story of conquerors, but of survivors who became too capable to contain. The galaxy called them extinction events, not because they destroyed blindly, but because they adapted until no enemy could stand against them. Humanity's past was not written in the blood of their enemies, but in the empty spaces left where civilizations once stood. And now, that same species was no longer trapped on one world, they were among the stars, walking the halls of the Galactic Council. Rael leaned back, the truth settling in his mind like cold iron. The galaxy's future had already changed, and it was far too late to stop it. The council chamber was silent, the kind of silence that carried weight. Every delegate knew the vote they were about to take could shape the galaxy for centuries. On one side were those who wanted to keep humanity at arm's length, placing restrictions and barriers between them and the rest of the known worlds. On the other were those who argued that it was far safer to keep humans close as allies than risk facing them as enemies. Captain Rael rose to speak, the ancient word Vardake echoing in his thoughts. He reminded the chamber that humans had never once struck first, yet every attempt to corner or control them had ended in quiet disaster for the aggressor. They were not conquerors in the traditional sense, they were survivors, planners, and adapters, the kind of force that could reshape the balance of power without ever firing a shot. The delegates shifted uneasily, remembering the Kraith Dominion's sudden collapse and the way humans had neutralized the summit attacker in seconds. Finally, the vote was cast. Humanity would be welcomed as a full member of the Council, not out of trust, but out of caution. The decision felt like a shield, fragile, yet necessary. As Rael left the chamber, he knew every leader there shared the same unspoken thought. They had not tamed the extinction event. They had merely chosen to stand beside it, hoping that when the storm came, they would be standing on the right side of history. Somewhere deep inside, Rael wondered if even that would be enough.